Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna be doing a review of Breaking Bad, and I'm sitting here wearing my Punisher t-shirt. Whatever, just deal with it. So, before I get into this review, I have actually met people out there that talk to me and say, "Is there a TV show out there that is 100% perfect? Is there a TV show out there that doesn't have a bad season? Is there a TV show out there that has so much every single one of their episodes is perfect and the characters are good and the story is lovable and it has a good beginning and a good end, all that type of jazz and all such?" And I say, yeah, and it is two words, and that is Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is like 100% perfect. I can't even speculate on how much I love this show. There is not a I honestly, it took me a long time to really talk about Breaking Bad because I have a feeling that I cannot even give it justice just by talking about how great the show is. And I remember when the show came out, and this before I get into this review, I gotta explain this. Before the show went, when the show was actually going out, I remember there were protests against the show. There were protests saying, "Oh no, this is about a person that makes drugs, and therefore it's a very bad show." And there were talks that were saying, "Yeah, this show promotes methamphetamines. In other words, this is a very bad show to watch." But then again, Harry Potter had protests. The Lord of the Rings had protests. You may not think that, but it did. Heck, even The Godfather had protests against it. So say that as you will. But the thing is, when you hear these people, they're saying that that this show is promoting drugs and promoting the lifestyle that drugs has on it. It's basically them saying this is what Breaking Bad is about. Hey, your life's going down. Everything is going really, really bad. I have a solution for you, and it's called. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, wait, here it is. Crystal meth, baby. It's crystal meth. Crystal meth makes your life better. It makes your life go insane. It's something you really need. It just makes your life better. Not even close what this show is even about. As a matter of fact, this show points out a lot of bad things that the drug life puts you into. And I do enjoy the fact that the main character of the show gets involved with it, thinks he has a map down of how he's going to pursue into this life, only for him to be dragged into the dark side to the point where he becomes the main guy, the godfather of this story. Funny how I mentioned the Godfather beforehand, but that's really what Breaking Bad is about. So, but I'm not going to talk about the entire season. I'm going to talk about season 1. And guys, before I get into this, I know I keep interrupting this, but I do have to point this out. Do not ever ask me to rank the seasons of Breaking Bad because that is impossible. I can't even think of a bad season in Breaking Bad. That's just a fact. But I'm going to talk about season 1. So, Breaking Bad season 1 stars Walter White, played by Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston kills it as Walter White. I absolutely enjoyed this guy from start to finish, and the point where he actually gets into later on in the show, it didn't even bother me because that's exactly what I expected. Vince Gilligan, who created the show, was a genius. He was an absolute genius when he created Breaking Bad. Because from the angles and the viewpoints that you get to see in this lifestyle of the drug business, it's very realistic and very relatable at the same time. It's strange to think that because not everybody in this world are drug dealers or even drug makers out there, but at the same time, you understand exactly where these characters are coming from. But anyway, Bryan Cranston is in the show, and he plays a character named Walter White. Walter White is the school teacher. He's down on his luck. He's finally 50 years old, so he's at the half point of his life. Nothing really seems to be good. His family is in a whole lot of debt. They're penniless, and he has a new daughter that's coming along the way. He doesn't really know what's going to happen next. He seems to have no control in his life, and at first, as I said, he's just down on his luck. That's just how it is. And then he gets the horrible news that he has stage 3 lung cancer. And when people hear the news for the first time that they get cancer in their life, the first thing that comes to their mind is their life is over. This is how it's going to end. And Walter White is no stranger when it comes to that fact. At first, when he gets the news about it, he acts casual about it, like he understands it and everything. But later on, he starts to he starts to explode out. He starts to freak out and all that type of stuff. Things that you would actually expect from somebody that has got the worst news in their life. Then he runs into an old student of his named Jesse. And Jesse is a meth maker. He is in the meth business and all such. And even though he doesn't agree with his lifestyle, he walks up to him and says, I know the science, you know the streets. Let's get down to business and let's make some meth. And even though this may sound like big spoiler alerts when it comes to season 1, trust me, these are not spoilers. Because why? Because that's episode 1. Episode 1 is perfect from start to finish, and I can't even speculate how great episode 1 is. Because it starts off with Walter White. He's wearing a mask, he's driving an RV, and Jesse is passed out in the other seat, and you see 2 bodies in the back just swinging back and forth. It's like they're running away from something. And that's how the very first scene starts out as, and this entire episode shows you how the very beginning starts and how that beginning scene, well, ends. If that even makes any sense. And it does a really good job that even though he is very good at making crystal meth, once when he gets into the business, there are certain people in the business of making drugs that you really do not want to meet. And case in point is the characters they meet in this season. I'm only gonna say a few characters in these reviews because I don't want to spoil the entire thing for you guys. But whenever I talk about Breaking Bad, I just cannot help myself. But anyway, when the stories have these mysteries that happen in the very beginning only to be resolved by the end of it, Vince Gilligan was a genius when he does it. And this is not the only time he shows you the end of the episode only for you to watch the very beginning to see how we got to this point. He does it so many times in this series, especially in season 1, and he is 100% 160 IQ, a genius when he does it. Because I can't even think of a bad moment when it shows that type of storytelling. Breaking Bad is full of that type of stuff, and it is not a disappointment. And with season 1, he starts off in that path of being in the drug business, only to kind of bow down out of it in the very middle of it because, well, he's seen the dangerous side of it, and he doesn't want to be a part of it. So what is the entire point? But then the idea that he needs money and that he needs to do this and he needs to, and that he's gonna die soon, that he needs to take care of his so-called medication as well as his family's debts at the same time. So he has forced himself into continuing in this business even with the doubts in his mind. And this is the first season where we finally hear the name of Heisenberg. Heisenberg, really famous in the show Breaking Bad. And quite honestly to you guys, I don't really know when Walter White finally becomes Heisenberg. And many people have speculated saying, oh, this episode is when he became Heisenberg. Oh no, this episode he became Heisenberg. Oh no, it is this episode. This episode clearly he became Heisenberg. That is just basically speculation. And Breaking Bad, the way it is written, the way it is put out there, you don't even know when he finally becomes Heisenberg. It can be speculated by so many different ways, and I applaud the show for doing that. And in season 1, there is an episode where he finally shaves his head for the very first time. He walks into a drug cartel's place and all such. After this drug cartel beat up Jesse and put him in the hospital, he walks in with a shaved head, calls himself Heisenberg, gives him a little batch and said, I would like to reconsider. And that drug dealer looks at him and he laughs and he says, you've already made a deal with me before. I beat the crap out of your boy, and yet you still want to make another deal? Well, Walter White picks up a little piece of that so-called meth that he had and he said, this is not meth. And he throws it against the wall. There's a big explosion that happens. And the first thing that goes through your mind is, whoa, did that just really happen? There are so many moments like that in Breaking Bad, it's not even funny. Like I said, don't ask me to rank all the seasons of Breaking Bad because there are so many moments like that in the entire series of Breaking Bad. And that was a moment that completely put me on board. I just sat there and go, all right, I'm in. I want to see how this whole thing ends. So I gotta say, with season 1 of Breaking Bad, fantastic beginning. I can't even think of a really good beginning of a TV show other than Game of Thrones, other than Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is one of those shows that once when you watch it, you gotta watch it from start to finish. I can only think of 2 TV shows in my mind that if someone is a first starter of watching the show, it would be Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones. And when they start it, I would have to say to them, before you press play, I gotta tell you this. Once when you press play, there is no going back. You are in this until the very end. Your life is going to change forever. And Breaking Bad is definitely one of those shows. So I gotta say, season 1 of Breaking Bad, fantastic. The storyline was perfect. There's not a character in this show that I did not enjoy, except for one certain character. But I'm going to get to that character in later reviews, because there's a lot I need to talk about this character. So I gotta say, season 1 of Breaking Bad is what I can say undoubtedly legendary. And for me, it gets a platinum sticker for perfect opening season. So guys, Breaking Bad season 1, have you seen it? What did you think of it? Whatever you thought, comment down below. Also, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you in the next video.